am back once again, this time with a double review on the Marvel Legends and SH Figure Arts Thanos figures from Avengers Infinity War. Keep in mind that these are used, and I think this one is a bootleg just because of his color. The wobbly joints, how he also doesn't want to stand like that, and his Infinity Gauntlet hand. All he's missing one Infinity Gauntlet hand. He's also missing, I think, a nut. He's also missing. Look at that. This does not look anything like the other Infinity Gauntlet, unlike the fist hand. So yeah, these are used figures. One is $90, while the other is only been released once, while the other one has been released more times than it already is. It has been released as a Build-A-Figure, which looks terrible, and then in the same year for Marvel's 10th anniversary, it was released as a 3-pack with the Iron Man Mark 50 with an LED light-up feature and a new Doctor Strange figure. And then it got reissued again in the Children of Thanos pack, where he has an alternate arm and head when, you know, he snaps. And as well, as you can see with this hand, it doesn't match with the bronze, the bronze of his gauntlet, so it's probably from the Build-A-Figure Thanos figure. But let's start off with this figure. Let's move him to the side. The painting and the sculpting on this figure is absolutely amazing. When the figure first came out, it looked like a raisin. Here's an image. See the image? It looks bad. It looked like he had this weird smirking head that looked bad. The color was all wrong. Now on camera it looks pretty bad, but in reality it's actually pretty good. So, basically, let's move on to his head. When I first saw this figure, I originally hated this figure. But after getting it in hand a few years later, used, I completely regret that statement. I think this is probably one of the better Thanos figures from the MCU. You can see the detail in his eyes, the amount of depth it is for his eyes. You can see the lips and the nice detail of his chin. Don't do that, actually, because you could chip the paint. Even though it's an ugly, ugly seam, that's fine. It doesn't, I guess, ruin the figure that much. Same with his armor. This one, he unarmors himself, and he has this bald spot. He has this very bald head. The memes are coming in my head. So you see his arms, again, nicely detailed with, I guess, these lines that go anywhere. And they still hold as well with the sculpt. And then we get his fist, which I wish he got more hands with this. That's what I really liked about the SH Figure Arts. And there's this ugly, ugly, you can see it on camera, this ugly stain. I don't know what it is. And then we move on to the Infinity Gauntlet. It's very nicely painted, very nicely sculpted. Even though there's some chipping on everything on it, I think this is by far one of the best Infinity War Thanos figures from Marvel Legends. And even more of the body. I guess it's the same, although this piece I think might be different. I think it's just lighter in tone and match with the armor, which is good. And you know, the texture of his armor, it feels amazing. It feels good. And the armor as well is pretty well done. And we move on to his thighs. He didn't have black pants. He had brown, and I think this one was pretty good. Although in all reality, I heard this from I think Unparalleled Universe. I don't think a company could, at least like a figure company like Bandai or Hasbro, could ever make a Thanos figure from an Infinity War with the right skin tone for his, or the right shade of purple. Because it looks like he was pink, and I think this one tries, and it actually does it pretty well. Unlike the Infinity War version of the SH Figure Arts. Again, the armor is really good, very well done. Although there is a massive tear here, is because this thigh here is very, very stiff. And again, very nicely detailed. And you can even remove the limbs if you want to, like so. Again, it's a Build-A-Figure. And you could also interchange this head with, personally, my preferred expression, this. He's grinning his teeth. There's more battle scars. His eyes are different. He just looks badass. And I don't think he actually came with an interchangeable hand. As I said before, this could be from the Infinity War Build-A-Figure. So, but he does have this opening hand, even though it's very, very loose and very, very tight. But the amount of painting and sculpting on this one, it just is really good. It may look ugly on camera, but it does look pretty badass. So it looks like he can hold someone, or something like that. Someone by the throat. And he doesn't have any alternate hands. However, when I got it, he did have the power gauntlet, which he never uses and is only introduced in Endgame. So let's just plug it in. And it does pretty well, although the cuff piece does get loose and does not stay in with the mold. This is more for the Professor Hulk or Smart Hulk figure than it is this Thanos. Alright, now let's move on to the Infinity, the SH figure arts, which I'll be right off the bat. This thing is broken. Look, I wanted this one first, just for the articulation. And yeah, the painting is still there, although there's not that much detail with his eyes. That just probably proves my point that this could be a bootleg. Also, the color is wrong. Now, out of the two, obviously, I don't know if anyone could get a good Thanos in a good skin tone. But in terms of his purple, I think, but I guess this one is better. Excuse me. And so basically, the skin tone is wrong. Basically, it's wrong. However, and even more off camera, it's just like sort of seeing this very, very light purple. And as you see, there's a bit of blue in there. You know why? The peg actually broke, because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Also, as well, the gauntlet, even if you just put the hand there, it looks, even though it's nicely painted, especially with the Infinity Stones, it's so, after looking at it, it looks so unnaturally flat. Which is why I decided to put the position like this, like in most Infinity War promotional art, or promotional material. Again, the details there, but it's very faded. And the color is also a little bit wrong. I think it was like a dark purple with him, and this one is just very dark blue. And the colors are not even just accurate. At least they perfected his pants. And the armor, again, really solid. You can see why this figure kind of sucks. Yeah, this could be a bootleg, because it squeaks so much. Moving on to accessories for this figure. He has a plethora of heads. This is like a stern expression. Here's like a smiling expression. He looks like a jackass, I'm not gonna lie. And we got the grinning expression. I do think, in terms of which one is better, I think this one has a better grinning or gritting teeth expression. He also has a couple of hand options. For this hand, he has these, for both hands, he has this gripping hand. And it looks amazing. Yeah, this thing is just screwed up. This thing was supposed to attach, and it does. So you could do it like this. But, but even more, look at this. This proves that this is probably a bootleg just by the Infinity Gauntlet colors. And then moving forward with another alternate hand, he has these relaxed hands that look so plain. They look really plain. They look so plain. It looks like he's playing the piano. And then, for some strange reason, he has this snapping hand on the other hand. It also could be that he's putting Infinity Stones, but this is a snapping hand, from what I heard. Why would you do that? Also, I'm not gonna lie, you could even do the whole salt thing. Look, I forgot all about my meme culture, okay? Don't judge me. Alright, let's move on to articulation for both of these figures. Let's start off with this one. Yeah, this one's sort of the weakest, although it's very poseable and very good to pose. You can look up that far and look down that far. 360 on the arms, in and out flapping motion, a single bend depending on which arm, a hinge joint at the wrist and a swivel at the wrist, a ab crunch, a diaphragm joint, a waist swivel, kicks that can go up and not that much back and not that much spread. Hopefully it can. Hopefully it doesn't get limit by the articulation. He has a double bend, a thigh swivel, a pivot, which is really good if you want to get this guy into some very dynamic poses. For this figure, keep in mind, if you get bored, I'm sorry, but let's move on. He has a ball joint in the head. He can look up that far, and with this neck joint, he can look down more. But with it, it's not that much. He has these nice arms, but they get so limited. And a butterfly joint, sort of. That's kind of useless. A single bend, well, a double bend. And depending on this hand, flapping, rotation, motion. This one, it looks like going like this before it snapped. You can do this, although I might have to put so much dish soap on the figure. Mainly a lot of side-to-side and back motion than front, which is really suspicious. I guess there's a waist swivel, but I'm so scared to do it. I know this guy also has a waist swivel, and he does, sort of, but it's just kind of limited because of that. But, oh, this is best. This is the worst part. I hate those creaking noises. It worries me a lot. So please tell me below if this is actually a bootleg, because I think this could be a bootleg. There we go, thigh swivel. And you can even put these down for more range, but, oh, that creaking, squeaking noise. And he has a single bend, a swivel, and pivot motion, and toe bend. Posability on this one is really good, although posing him around with his legs is an absolute pain, because it looks like he's just squeaking every single moment that you move him. The only problem with this figure in terms of articulation is just this thigh. Like, that's why it's bent, because of this. Because of his upper thigh, because it's so tight. Yeah, please tell me below in the comments if you ever own a Marvel Legends figure and the joint gets really, like, it gets stuck in place. Because I've had that issue with most of my Marvel Legends, with, like, some of my Marvel Legends figures. And only some, I mean, like, 2. Alright, let's move on to the size comparison. Size comparison time. These two figures, this one stands roughly at, 7 inches, sorta. Hopefully that's right, maybe 7. This guy stands at roughly 8, almost 7, 6, 7, 7. Now, here he is with my first Thanos figure, and I kind of don't like, just for one piece, the Walmart exclusive version. Now, of course, he's on a stand, and this is on. But, like, comparing these two, oh, man. This figure has the worst pieces of armor. One, I lost one of the cuff pieces, and one of them is in an accessories bin. And two, this thing has the worst collar thing I have seen, because it pops out so easy. And this is a Walmart exclusive. And I like the colors, but, oh my god, it's just so loose. And yet, he's also another Build-A-Figure reissued. Honestly, you could just get the deluxe version, which I don't know if it's better. But there he is. This Thanos is obviously bigger. And here are they compared to another figure I have on the shelf, or on my table currently, because I was playing with it. The Marvel Select Venom, which is, what, 9 inches, sort of? Well, he looks like he's hunched. They're roughly the same size. This guy's a bit taller, though, as you could see. That was a bit weird. If you want me to do a re-review on this one, I would 100% do it, because that other one is so old. And then here he is with some, now here are both of them, with some Marvel Legends figures on my shelf. I want to do it really quick. Here he is with the Infinity, the 10th year anniversary Captain America figure, and the Marvel Legends Mark 46 Iron Man figure. In my opinion, in my collection, the best Iron Man I have. And yeah, I know this one is big, and would love to get a reissue on it. If not, a remold. But comparing him to Thanos, I think he does scale pretty well. But comparing them to the newer, to this SH Figuarts, it doesn't scale well. I honestly suggest you get the SH Figuarts versions of both Captain America from Infinity War and Iron Man, which is one of the figures I really wish I could have gotten, but it's so expensive. So, buy now, skip, or just skip, because these figures are so much. Honestly, I'd rather suggest this one. As much as I really wanted this one, and I got it, after the breakage issue and the loose joints and the paint scheme and the creakiness of the joints, I think suggest this one. It has minimal issues, but it's still a lot of fun to pose, and it's still a lot of fun and it's still like what I guess the closest you can get to a more Marvel, the closest you could get to a Marvel, Infinity War Thanos that is almost accurate to him in to what he looks like in the movie. Granted, yeah, he has, paint chipping, and, he might be a bit of a hassle, but for me to get into. But I think this figure is amazing. If you want a Thanos figure now, I'd honestly suggest you get the Infinity Saga version of Thanos. That one, in my opinion, is better than the Endgame version of Thanos when it was released. The Endgame version of Thanos when it was released, it looked terrible, in my opinion. So, yeah, out of 10, I give this one an 8.5, and I give this one maybe a 7 or a 6. This one is going I think it's going to the spare parts bin. I don't know. So until then, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I will probably not do this one's photo gallery because 1, I'm lazy. 2, I don't know what soundtracks I can get. So yeah, sorry about that. However, I will piece something. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.